Harris, and I know as much as, a little preface for this for Jason, I know you're not going to like it, but you're going to have to admit that this is true. With Vice President Harris picking Tim Walz as her running mate, we now have the most pro-marijuana ticket in presidential history for a major party in the U.S. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris' selection of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her vice president on Tuesday is encouraging news for the $36 billion U.S. marijuana industry. For the first time, there will be a pro-legalization major party ticket, said David Culver, Senior Vice President of Public Affairs for the U.S. Cannabis Council, a D.C.-based lobby group for the industry. Culver was referencing Harris' support as vice president for the Biden administration's quest to relax federal marijuana law, as well as Walz's record as Minnesota's governor. If the Harris-Walz ticket is elected on November 5th, Walz would become the first vice president to have signed an adult-use marijuana legalization bill into law, which he did in May of 2023. While Minnesota has not yet launched adult-use marijuana sales, low-THC hemp-derived beverages are sold across the state. And Native American tribes, which are not subject to federal or local laws, have already begun selling adult-use marijuana in Minnesota. Cannabis advocates touted Walz's impact on the legal marijuana industry in Minnesota. Under his leadership, Minnesota achieved a historically progressive policy agenda, including a nation-leading framework for cannabis legalization, said Leila Fateh, a cannabis advocate, attorney, and political consultant in Minnesota. He recognized that Minnesotans were ready for and would embrace a progressive, justice-oriented, and anti-monopolistic approach to cannabis legalization. This vision and foresight are precisely what we need as federal policy undergoes the significant changes we anticipate. Marijuana reform advocacy was a common thread among potential Democratic vice presidential selections. For example, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who banked on adult-use cannabis revenue when he crafted his annual state budget, and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who signed a medical marijuana legalization bill into law. The Republican ticket has stayed relatively silent on the issue of marijuana reform. Former President Donald Trump's record on cannabis while in the White House is relatively benign, even though his first choice as an Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, rescinded the Cole memo immediately after taking office. The Cole memo essentially left legal marijuana programs in the U.S. alone. Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, has opposed marijuana banking reform and declined to take a position on adult use legalization in his home state last year. Recreational marijuana sales began in Ohio on Tuesday. So, pretty interesting story. I think, I am personally a fan of Tim Walz, but absent of perspective on his entire policy platform and his history in Minnesota, I think a couple things are some positive signs. One, he's managed to pass quite a lot of legislative bills in Minnesota with a narrow majority, which it looks like if the Democrats are going to retain control of the Congress and Senate, that they would have a very narrow majority. So as the vice president being the president of the Senate and overseeing the Senate, I think that's a positive sign for potentially for cannabis. And more than anything, I think, and this is what you were alluding to earlier, Rico, I think this is a huge shift in people's perception of the Democratic Party, who I think people have felt that they've been strategically inept for a long time and they make really poor political strategic decisions. Mm-hmm. And this to me is the first sign of optimism that I've had in a long time where, they seem to be moving in the right direction. We'll see how that translates at the ballot box in November. But let's kick it back to the team. I'm interested in hearing what everyone has to say, especially you, Jason. I know you must be changing your party affiliation and getting ready to attend that convention in Chicago.
Oh boy!
I just threw my first thought into the chat because this is the biggest gaslight alert that I have seen in a long time, you guys. And I am not talking about a sale at Catalyst. Okay? But this.
Hey man, let me just say this. Let me ask you this, Jason. All right,
sure.
So if the Republicans are being seen currently as the Save the Children party, but they're being run by an 80-year-old prohibitionist who doesn't really have a stance on anything. And the guy underneath him, Mr. Eyeliner aficionado over there.
The couch aficionado.
Right, who is also anti-everything. Can we please, this is my question, can you please have the same energy if you want to attack Harris for her positions in the past. Like, I think that's 100%.
I'm not about to attack anybody.
No, I think it's 100% fair game if anybody wants to attack her positions on the past. I'm just saying, like, I have that same energy for these Republicans too. What are the things that they said and done in the past?
I call Republicans out when they're prohibitionists on things like that. I do that all the time. I don't have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Balls are balls.
So Jason, do you disagree with this?
I
totally
Harris
disagree
at all
with this headline.
I think she's a cop, but the Tim Walz has put his money where his mouth is, and he's done it.
I totally disagree.
That's wonderful. And I mean, if I look like the keeper elf, I'd probably use something like cannabis to pander for the black vote as well. I mean, I think that you see a lot of pandering going on from both sides. I don't think that either side right now is what is good for cannabis. So if we're going to keep reading these headlines and believe in it, let's just not drink the Kool-Aid.
Not at all. I think Tim Walz is actually good. On a personal note, I don't really have any respect for the other three. But I think Tim Walz is.
Hold on. So
he's a great pick for America, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that, Rico.
In respect to that, okay. First off, my whole thoughts on this. Okay, Kamala Harris messed up when they picked Tim Walz. They should have picked Josh Shapiro. Okay.
Nope.
Yes, 100%.
They made the right choice. They 100% made the right choice.
I don't believe that.
Disagree.
That's cool. We're going to disagree. We're going to keep moving on because I have a whole bunch of points for you on this. So now, if we are just going off, first of all, in regards with Tim Walz, I'm not really too concerned too much about his policies and whatnot, just like I'm not a lot of concerned with J.D. Vance's policies, because the vice president doesn't really have any power, and you can totally see that it just even within this administration from what has been accomplished under her record, and just look at the border just as one example, okay? Because that's what she's supposed to be in charge of, or was put.
Is she? It's kind of sketchy. It's kind of sketchy.
So now I'm going to go into I'm going to look at the candidates' records, and I agree with your statement, Rico, in that we don't have great choices for who our leader is going to be, in the sense when it comes to cannabis policy. I totally agree with that 100%. Okay, but if I'm picking the lesser of two evils, I'm riding with Trump 100% on this one, and I'm going to give you a few reasons why, and it's going to be all based on their record. All on their record. So Kamala Harris's record, we're all very familiar with that. She's locked up tons of people for cannabis. She was always been a prosecutor, and now they're trying to say that they've evolved on the issue and trying to do this and that. But the Democrats have been promising cannabis voters promises for decades, and nothing has happened ever since the Clintons. Okay, and there were still raids under the Clintons, and so I'm not buying any of this. Also, too. I'm really disgusted at the Democratic Party for the fact that they have installed Kamala as their as the nominee, and that Democrats aren't more mad about this because there has been no votes for her to hold that position.
You're mad because you're losing.
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, can we refute that point? Can we discuss that point?
No. I'm just giving out my whole points, and now I'm going to go over to Trump's record real quick, and after I do that, then you guys can say whatever you want after that. So then. In regard, and when I say votes, Sohum, I'm referring to primary votes for their Democratic nominee in this election. That's what I'm referring to.
Sure.
Just to be clear. And then when we look at Trump's side, Trump signed the Farm Bill. There were no federal raids. No one cares about the Cole memo because it never did anything. We had Rohrabacher-Farr still in place, and that's the only thing that people think that the Cole memo did in the first place. So I'm not worried about any of the resending of the Cole memo because it was nothing. It did nothing. It's a whole nothing burger. And then at the same time too, Trump also signed MCA, the NAFTA 2.0 bill, and that
Trump can't read, but he signs everything.
Hold on, and that has cannabis in it. And so it's already.
Trump has no idea what he signs.
Cannabis is already part of the North American Free Trade Agreement, and so to me, that is way more progress than we have seen from any of these members. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I can't wait to.
Yeah, are we done?
Yeah, Walz got it legalized in his damn state.
First, and let's be clear, signing the Farm Bill
I mean,
unintentionally legalized cannabis.
That's my whole point.
But that was not intentional. That was not intentional at all,
bro. He did it, and he's not saying that he's mad about it.
You can't put that on his track record when it was a mistake.
I don't buy that as a mistake.
We gave you the
and I want to go back to your other point about the fact that you're claiming that she was not elected by the voters.
She was not.
Do you know what a ticket is?
There's been no person that is primary.
Everybody was voting for Biden.
They voted for Biden-Harris. And if you do that, that means that if something happens to Biden, Harris steps in. That is literally the definition of what a vice presidential pick is. Otherwise, you're right. They're a figurehead until the president has to step down or something happens to them. So by casting ballots for a Biden-Harris ticket, they in fact voted exactly for that. What's happening now is
I don't believe that. I don't believe that, but I do understand how you could conflate the two, and I understand
that's
how
not
Democrats,
conflating anything.
It is.
Jason, as Cameron Giles would say, you mad?
Never mad, baby.
Never mad.
Never mad.
Yeah, I mean, the complaint prior to this was that Joe Biden was too old and not his mental acuity was diminishing.
The Democratic Party had a thing against old white men, and they just installed a vice presidential nominee that's a white old man.
I mean, where did you get that impression?
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm a white old man. What's that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying.
I just want to see this be part of the open public debate.
I would like both that too.
Sides.
I agree with
Here's
that.
my record about marijuana. Let's talk about how fucked up this government's been about it. What can we do about it? And if their ass is hanging out for shit they've done in the past, let them get spanked for it. But I want to see another round of debates where people actually say the word marijuana out loud, and little old ladies in the audience aren't fainting.
Yep.
Let's move on to try to solve this and stop blaming everybody for the shit in the past. Everybody's got blood on their hands for how marijuana's been handled since it was made illegal. And it's about time they got their head out of their ass, looked around for what their constituents want, maybe pander to their goddamn constituents, and rather just blame the other person for how things. Every one of them's got skeletons in their closet about this.
Yeah. One last point. I'm actually surprised, Jason, that you're not a bigger fan of Tim Walz, considering he got them selling your favorite Disty Juice beverages from border to border in the state of Minnesota. Well, you could get it at a brewery now.
Just for the record, I don't know a lot about Tim Walz personally. Okay, I'm open to learning more and whatnot. But if you I truly am. But if you go over to their website, over to Kamala Harris's website. And they have the announcement of Tim Walz. The only thing that you see is a donate buttons and whatnot. They have no policy on their website as far as where they are and their intentions. And so to me, until they get all that worked out, I'm open to learning more. But it's not. This is crazy.
Hey man, hey. Smoke weed every day.
They have no policy.
Tim Walz is a fan of Prince. He also got kids, free breakfast and lunch in the state, all throughout the state of Minnesota.
So here's the real question.
He's a veteran. He was a teacher for 30 years.
I have heard that he's a veteran. I have heard a lot of great things about him. But
like I said, I do not have much personal respect or stock in the other three people on the ticket. But I think Tim Walz was a great pick for them.
Agreed.
And I think I am more confident in them actually doing stuff for us than the Republicans right now in our industry. If we want to keep it under
I think
cannabis,
it's more pandering.
I'm more confident in Walz and Harris.
It's for a change, the Democrats listening to some of the younger part of their base. There were issues. Yeah, the reason they didn't pick Josh Shapiro was because there was a lot of pushback about his support for the war in Israel. And without getting into either side of that issue, the fact is that was going to affect Democrats' ability to get young people to show up and vote. And Tim Walz doesn't have a strong position on that topic on either side, so it's a much safer pick.
I like that's a good spin. I'm going to give you that, Sohum. That's a good spin. But
that's what happened.
Well, no, hold on. I do agree with you that Josh Shapiro didn't get picked because of the Israel issue. I 100% agree with that. Okay,
I think it's too ambitious. I think he would overshadow the candidate who's at the top of the ticket. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons that Josh Shapiro was, including the death of whatever her name is, Elizabeth, forgot her name, in 2011, that he said was suicide, and she had 9 stab wounds. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of skeletons that would immediately.
I hate when I stab myself 9 times.
Yeah, right. There's a
in the back, I think.
You blame high potency cannabis, right? So, big shout
like
out.
How Gary Webb committed suicide.
No, real talk.
Double tapped himself in the back of the head.
Yeah, I think there were. I think he was a great pick, and it was a great chess move. And final word for me, I just think that the Republicans are spiraling right now, and I just want to hear policy, like Dale said. Put him on stage, let him debate, and let's talk about policy, because all I'm getting from the Trump campaign right now is personal attacks.
I can't wait.
It's really off-putting when you're attacking somebody race, and it's coming from a fucking white man. So I have no fucking respect for Donald Trump.
I'm gonna give you guys.
I love Jimmy Beth.
I'm gonna give you guys.
It's coming from a white man.
I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a great Democrats a great merch idea. Okay, I'm gonna hook you guys up. You guys gonna be able.
Who's you guys?
I'm gonna be able to. You guys are whoever is identifying as a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking to anyone in particular. I'm saying anyone that identifies as a Democrat. And so I can't wait to see the merchandise for this campaign that says "Build the Walls."
Whatever happened to Let's Go Brandon? You got to burn all those shirts now, huh?
Nope. Those are still good.
Rolling papers.
Yep. Build the walls.
For all the people who started their whole business around "Let's Go Brandon" t-shirts and shit.
Boy.
The only other candidate that would have been a decent pick next to Tim Walz was somebody whose first name was Brandon.
No, they should have. Josh Shapiro should have been who they chose. They're going to need the most help in Pennsylvania.
But he's not. Why are you still talking about? Why are you bringing up old shit?
I'm just
talking about who you got now.
I'm saying what I'm saying.
Research your candidate, bro.
No, it's obvious. The Republicans wanted Josh Shapiro because, just like you said, Rico, they were ready to start pulling all those skeletons out of a closet, and they're disappointed because Tim Walz doesn't have that.
Right? That's cute. I'm not.
Well, they'll find everything. How many hairs are around his butthole here pretty quick.
There's
what all these researchers do, and so we'll hear all the scandalous stuff. I mean, we know a lot about Trump already. Kamala, we lived here in California with Kamala, and the cannabis community is rallying around her, but we all watched her.
Yeah, and we watched her lock people up, and that's their record. I haven't seen Trump arrest anybody on weed like that. Just saying.
How quickly we forget.
Because Trump don't do shit. He just does what he's fucking told to do.
I mean, to that point, I haven't seen Biden arrest anybody on cannabis either.
Yeah,
so that's a pretty meaningless.
Hold on, Biden created the '93 crime bill. And so you can't even go there with that. But
as president, it
doesn't matter. None of that matters, bro.
I'm not supporting Biden's track record here. I'm just saying that's a meaningless point.
No, it's not.
Okay,
not at all. We're gonna go to the next story.
Where did we get to? Yeah,
we're done. It's 10:30, bro.
Yeah. Are we done?
There's another story.
Yeah. We gotta go, man. I gotta go. I gotta work. I gotta make money. I gotta make money to pay these high ass taxes. So.
Damn, y'all not gonna let me in the story? Holy.
Hurry, Jay.
Come on, let Jenny Beth get her story in.
Hey, I gotta bounce. I love y'all.
We love you, Rico. Thank you so much.
Yes. Hey, big shout out to
bounce from the circular firing squad here, right?
Yep.
Rico's got enough to put in his pipe and smoke till tomorrow. He's gonna come back later, though.
Yes. We'll see you tomorrow.
I love y'all, man.
Love you too, bro. Thank you.